Hello everyone, my name is Tekiner. I am working as a research assistant in Cyber Physical Systems Security Lab at Florida International University. Today, I will be presenting our systemization of knowledge paper with the title Sok Cryptojacking Malware. Here is my outline. I will start with the introduction and cover the Sok methodology we used. Then we categorize cryptojacking malware types and techniques. After that, in literature review part, we presented an overview of cryptojacking related studies. Finally, we summarize the lessons learned and present some potential research directions in the domain and conclude the presentation in conclusion. Introduction. Since the Bitcoin was launched in 2009, blockchain and cryptocurrencies have attracted ever-increasing interest from both legitimate users and attackers. Cryptojacking is the act of using the victim's computational power without consent to mine cryptocurrency. Several important incidents found in critical systems, such as United States Department of Defense, United Kingdom Governmental Services, and Russian nuclear science labs. Well-known streaming platforms like YouTube, a Nintendo Switch game console, and even MikroTik internet routers also affected from cryptojacking malware. Sok methodology. We covered all published cryptojacking related papers and security reports to systemize the knowledge about cryptojacking malware, its impacts and important attack instances. We also created a dataset for a comprehensive understanding of cryptojacking malware. We used two main sources to collect cryptojacking malware samples, VirusTotal and public World Wide Web source code search engine. Cryptojacking malware types. After our research, we categorized cryptojacking under two main types, in-browser and host-based cryptojacking. In-browser cryptojacking. In-browser cryptojacking takes an advantage of interactive web content technologies and connects it to a victim's host devices to access certain computational resources of the victim's host devices to perform cryptocurrency mining as long as the victim keeps the web page open. Host-based cryptojacking. Host-based cryptojacking is a silent malware that attackers employ to access the victim's host resources. Creating and distributing host-based cryptojacking malware is a harder process, and the attackers must have a certain level of knowledge to implement these attacks. Cryptojacking malware techniques. We give broad information about the source of cryptojacking malware, infection methods, victim platform types, target currencies, detection and prevention methods, and finally, evasion and obfuscation techniques used by the cryptojacking malware. Source of cryptojacking malware. Cryptojacking malware can be created and distributed by different parties and sources. In our research, we identified two main sources of cryptojacking malware. The first one is service provider that distributes ready-to-use mining scripts, and regular crypto mining software that attackers modify them to embed into some other applications. Infection methods. Attackers use several different methods and entities to inject, embed, and distribute their cryptojacking code. We classify them as website owners, compromised websites, malicious ads, malicious browser extensions, third-party software, exploited vulnerabilities, social engineering attacks, and finally, drive-by dolmens. Victim platform types. Attackers differentiate their target device domain depends on their revenue model and strategy. We list device domain as browser, personal computers, on-premise servers, cloud server, IoT botnet, and finally, mobile devices. Target currencies. Target currency is the last step of the life cycle of cryptojacking. After our research, we observed that majority of the attackers and service providers use Monero. We believe that the reason for this selection is privacy and untraceability features of Monero cryptocurrency. We also found that 35% of samples taken from VirusTotal are marked with a label containing the keyword Bitcoin. However, this does not show that those samples are absolutely using Bitcoin as a target currency. Evasion and obfuscation techniques. The purpose of the cryptojacking malware is to exploit the resources of the victim as long as possible without being detected. Attackers use CPU limiting, hidden library calls, code encoding, and binary obfuscation methods to stay hidden as long as possible. Detection and prevention methods. In traditional malware detection literature, there are two main analysis methods, Static and dynamic analysis. Static analysis tools generally seek specific keywords, malware signatures, and hash values. In dynamic analysis, the malware sample is executed in a controlled environment and the analysts observe the behavioral features of those malware samples. Majority of cryptojacking detection studies use dynamic analysis methods. Literature review. After the search of cryptojacking malware, many publications published in a very small time frame. These papers focus on three main topics: cryptojacking detection, prevention, and analysis. Cryptojacking detection studies. We found 28 cryptojacking detection studies in the literature and reviewed them under several main features. Dataset and methods are the most crucial features because most of the proposed detection study uses dynamic analysis method to detect cryptojacking malware. We can measure the effectiveness of the proposed dynamic detection method with their dataset. However, only 3 of the proposed detection mechanisms provide their datasets. Type it another distinctive feature. 82% of the proposed mechanism dedicated to detect in-browser cryptojacking malware. There are only few studies propose a solution for host-based cryptojacking malware. Features. Main detection mechanisms have been proposed using dynamic features to detect cryptojacking. CPU events, memory activities, and network packages are the most commonly used features. Classifier and performance. The collected features used to train different machine learning classifiers such as support vector machine, random forest, neural network, and decision tree. With the single or combinational usage of all those features and classifiers, all proposed detection methods achieve near-perfect detection results. However, only 3 of the proposed mechanisms share their dataset, and 5 of them share their source code with the public. Cryptojacking prevention studies. 3 of the studies both focusing to detect and prevent cryptojacking malware. These studies using the following methods to prevent cryptojacking malware: raise a notification for the user, sleep the mining process, or directly kill the related process. Blacklists are also a handful way to prevent cryptojacking malware as long as their admin keep them updated. Cryptojacking analysis studies. Finally, there are 15 analysis studies focusing on analysis of the cryptojacking malware. These studies performed empirical measurement studies to understand the cryptojacking threat landscape better. The authors of these studies focused on characterizing the scope of cryptojacking malware, operations, and revenue. The first analysis study is published in 2014, but after the research of cryptojacking, we can observe that this area drew attention of researchers and a lot of follow-up studies are published. Lessons learned and research directions. Attackers now target the devices with more processing power rather than the personal computers as in the browser cryptojacking attacks. In almost all of the attack instances we have seen during our research, the attackers use Monero as a target cryptocurrency instead of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. We identified 3 issues regarding the evaluation of the proposed solutions in the literature. Dataset dates are not reported, not clear if it is online or offline detection, overhead analysis is not given. There is a need for more effort by researchers to work on the usage of legitimate crypto mining with user consent and knowledge as a funding model. Conclusion. In this paper, we presented the cryptojacking malware types, their life cycle, and working logic in a systematic fashion. We also presented the techniques used by cryptojacking malware based on the previous research paper, cryptojacking samples, and major attack instances. We examined if cryptojacking is an essential tool for hackers to raise pseudonym or fully anonymized revenue. Even though there are a lot of important studies issued to detect cryptojacking malware, the applicability and overhead analysis of these detection systems are not clear. This SOK study will facilitate not only a deep understanding of the emerging cryptojacking malware and the pertinent detection and prevention mechanisms, but also a substantial additional research work needed to provide adequate mitigations in the community. Acknowledgements. This project supported by National Science Foundation and Cyber Florida Capacity Building Program. Thank you for watching my presentation, and you can find my contact information and some additional resources on this page. I will be more than happy to answer your questions and talk to anybody send me an email.